full moon is upon us. It is, well, Tuesday/Wednesday. So, you know, we're kind of in it. All right. So now this is a bit of a full moon update. It's the pink moon. And I want to talk a little bit about that and transformation. So it's a bit of a mixed bag of a video. So I suppose you could call it a bit of an energy update. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some homework. I'm going to put you to task, and I'm going to do this myself as well. And it's basically going to give you a very brief tutorial on how to set up your own fire ceremony. And let me tell you, do it on the full moon today or tomorrow, and then come back and report back. All right. I'm going to share that at the end of this video because I want you to be able to grab pen and paper at the end, take notes, go do it. And just let me know how your fire ceremony went, because that is the element we're working with. You know, with this full moon and everything like that, it's washing away now all of the buildup of the whole of April, actually, and the eclipse season and everything like that. Going back, we have to keep going back to the solar eclipse and kind of bringing it forward because it's relevant. Solar, fire, okay? Solar plexus. That's why our stomach's been all over the place. It's our center of power. I've done a video prior to this one which explains it very deeply, very, very much detail about all of this. So the weekend just gone as well. So let's just rewind briefly to the solar eclipse, okay? Then let's kind of like skip forward to the weekend just gone, because that was one of the most powerful manifestation weekends for us. But manifestation is all about transformation and alchemy. And that was to do with Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus. Okay, that they all became kind of like aligned and they opened up this portal. So this is running off the eclipse energy. So everything is just bringing to the surface, transform, bringing to the surface, transform, bringing to the surface, transform. And when we transform, especially if we're working with Sekhmet, she takes the darkness, she eats it, she hunts it, she ingests it, and she burns it up in the belly of the goddess, right? That is the transformation. It's kind of like the oven, the cauldron, whatever. We transform it, right? So all of these things that have been happening over April have now led us to this full moon, which is a welcome release of just, which is why I'm going to share with you about the fire ceremony. Because it's going to be very, very assistive in clearing. It has been brought up like, I don't want to do any more purging. It's not about purging. It's about clearing, cleansing, transforming, and helping that other stuff get into alignment. You know, so this is not about just like, because purging is all about the dark night of the soul, right? Which kind of leads me into the next part of the video, because this is like really important. I've had so many conversations about this. I want to ask you a question, okay? Are you in the dark night of the soul, or are you in transformation mode? Like, they are very, very different, believe it or not. Remember, 2024 is the year of transformation. And I've said it before in many videos prior, and even now, transformation is tough. So let's break down what transformation feels like, because let's face it, we all know what a dark night of the soul feels like. So transformation, okay, is all about burning the old, letting it all disintegrate, all the familiar goes, right? And it's everything we've ever wished for. Okay, so we want this transformation to come, and we've spoken about it for so long, but now it's here. There's a little bit of a double back going on, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. Everyone I know have been suffering with constipation. We've all been like, yes, no. And we suck it up and we're holding on, yet everything else is going, no, we want to go that way. So once again, we have kind of spiritual hemorrhoids going on, bit of a push and a pull, or maybe it's just a flat no, spiritual constipation. So we have to have everything moving in the same direction, which is why I'm suggesting a fire ceremony. So stay tuned for the details at the end, because that's super important, because I'm doing one tonight and I'm going to be sharing with the group after that. So transformation, think about that. Everything, all of the dark nights of the soul that you have done today. And let's face it, we've been in this gig together for some years. The last 4 years have been intense, and that's all we've spoken about, right? Dark night of the soul is when you go through your dark stuff and there's something like an internal compass inside of you that just keeps you going. You got no light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know why. We just kept going, didn't we? And there was just like, there was a knowing. That was your higher self going, we got to keep on trucking, got to keep on trucking. You didn't know why you were doing it, but you just kept on going because you're still here, right? So that was like going without realizing why you're going, right? That was the real clearing the depths. But now we're in transformation. This is very, very different. It may feel like it, but things are a lot more active and potent and, like I say, active, right? Because when we burn everything up that we don't know anymore, and we really have come to that point, guess what? You look around, nothing's familiar. Nothing. We're creatures of habit. How is that going to work for us? We're like freaking out a little bit, low key, like, oh my God, like, well, this means that I actually have to go and do that thing now. I've been talking about writing a book for so long. I've been talking about doing a video on Instagram. I've been talking about like living that life, whatever that might be. I've been talking about living that life. That's for me. And now shit, it's happening now. Oh my God. So you are now being called up because you're center stage. And now you're thinking, shit, what if I forget my lines? Oh my God, I'm so scared. Do you know what I mean? So actually the transition of transformation actually brings up fear in itself. And that is what's being transcended right now. So it's a different kind of fear to the dark night of the soul. Now, perspective and conversation, internal dialogue is everything. So I'm calling you, asking you if it resonates to just sit with this and just kind of tell yourself, right, is this the dark night of the soul, or do I know better? Am I witnessing everything crashing down around me, which is a little bit scary, legit, given, that's fine. But it is changing, and it's still bringing up that feeling of just feeling kind of shit, actually. Do you know what I mean? I've been very, very sick with this ascension sickness, but it was different to before. So transformation, you can actually see now, or you've got a very strong idea of what is going on around you. The illusion is lifting. Hollywood, all the elite, even across the spiritual board, you know what I mean? The spiritual world, the world, do you know what I mean? Everything out there that is not of wholeness, that was coming from an outer perspective of control. Basically, authority out there is now being transformed into inner authority because it's coming crashing down. This is a flipping good sign that all of this chaos is going on around you. Why? Because it's in the name of transformation. When we were in the dark night of the soul, rewind, go back to your memory banks, right? We were just in the dark night of the soul. The governments were still clicking along. You know what I mean? Hollywood was still churning out movies. Your Hollywood. Do you know what I mean? All of these things which are now showing us, which are just lies, corruption. Oh my God, he did that. Oh wow, those people aren't really who they said they were. It's going off. We can't keep up with it. There's so much of it. We didn't have that when we were in the dark night of the soul. We were just in our shit and that was it and that was all. But now we're actually seeing all of the benefits of all of that work you've done come crashing down around our ears. And the only reason that illusion can be in collapsion, it is a word, it's my word. The only reason that illusion is collapsing is because we've done the inner work. Because remember, if we are all working on our own inner reality, out there is changing. So if I'm working on my inner world, because I need it to line up and transform and be in the highest vibe, and then the next person is, and the next person is, and the next person is, guess what? We're just one big spiritual patchwork quilt, and we're all connected to each other, and we make this beautiful big blanket. You know what I mean? We cannot be moved, So that's what's happening. We really are starting to see the fruits of our labors now. And that is exactly what I want to bring into the mix now, the tree of life. Now, I've been studying the Kemetic tree of life, which is very, very similar to the Egyptian tree of life, okay? So it's like the tree of life as in like normal pictures that we see, but like the actual sacred geometry of it. I've been studying the Kemetic tree of life. And that really brings home when you start to live in that order and that formation. I know you might not understand it, but this is what you are actually allowing to be reconfigured and to be reinstalled and restored, okay? When the Egyptians lived in Ma'at, when they lived with order, balance, justice, they had that kind of like arrangement, that kind of dynamic. They lived by Ma'at. They lived in the highest frequencies because they lived by the 42 laws and so on and so forth. That all of that energy was so in balance, creation, divine feminine, because it had a very powerful divine masculine template to land into and to live by, which is why everything was in balance, which is why the Egyptians got it right as well as other civilizations and things like that, because they all lived by that kind of cosmic order, as above, so below. But it all fell from grace because then people started to take control and they took that away from us, and they took our internal our inner authority collapsed, and then we gave our power away and they held on to it, and now this is full circle. It's coming back in. So what's happening is your own sacred geometry of the tree of life within you, the Kemetic tree of life, is now being restored. And now it's coming online, which means you're starting to feel a bit more of a footing coming online, and you're starting to feel a bit more orderly, which is why we can feel the changes of this. And this is going to be very apparent from June onwards, okay? So the second half of this year, game changer. In fact, the end of this month, game changer. We are really still transforming, but you're not in a dark night of the soul. So if this is resonating with you, okay, because like, it's like, we can't do this forever. Like, if you think that you were going to be stuck in the dark night of the soul forever, like, a lot of us thought that, but this is very different, this transformational stage, right? So this natural order within you is coming online. So if that's what's happening inside of you, then outside of you is going to be showing up exactly the same, right? Now, I do understand and know that there's not all of us that are at this stage yet, because we must understand that we're at different stages of our popping of popcorn, okay? But we're all going to get there to the church on time, right? We're going to get to the temple on time, right? All of us, every single one of us that have agreed, right? So if you are still in the deep, dark purge, that is not a dark night of the soul. You are transforming from the inside out at a very, very, very deep level. You know, I'm going to share with you my story now, just a little bit. I have been working and so much change. I've been working on establishing new things, offerings, teachings I want to share with you. I want to be more seen. I want to speak out about the stuff I was scared about talking about, for finding my voice more on a bigger level, just being more of a teacher than I am. And like, I've been working on it for so long that all of a sudden it started to show, all of that work that I've done, it started to actually happen now. And I kind of went, oh, hell nah. And I kind of went, nope. And I booked out. I was just like, oh no, this is too much change. All of that transformation, all of that stuff that I've wished for and worked on is now happening. Oh shit, no, I'm not doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather go back to the stuff that I don't like, but I know how it works. That's the thing. So I had to have a strong word with myself over eclipse season and also this full moon, that I'm like, don't be scared. The very things that you're terrified of, the very things that you kind of move away from, is actually the very thing that is the gift and that will work for you. So it's now just literally facing your fears head on. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe the illusion. That is what transformation is all about, right? So now I'm going to bring in the teachings of the chrysalis. Now, it's not anything you don't know, but I'm just going to break it down like this, right? So with a chrysalis, right, the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis, all right, goes in as a caterpillar. And then spend some time in the chrysalis, which is our dark nights of the soul, doing our stuff, whatever. Then all of a sudden it becomes time. And I mean, that's also a divine timing thing. How beautiful. How did the caterpillar know? Did he have a stopwatch? Did he have an alarm clock? Do you know what I mean? Did his mate phone him from the next chrysalis and say, do you know what, bud, this is your early morning wake up call. It's time to come out. No, it was just an internal knowing, right? So therefore, the caterpillar now goes through its transformational process. But the major transformational process, the real, like, big, you know, is when it's time for him to break out the chrysalis now and bring those wings out. Now, this is a very true, honest, real thing with African moths and probably lots of moths all over the world, but these beautiful moths and butterflies, right? So now they've got to bust out this chrysalis, which takes quite some time. So they're getting their wings out and they're moving and it takes so much energy for them to actually get these wings out of the chrysalis, get out of the casing. And then what they will do, they will chill out and they will lump on a tree for a while and they will just, like, you know, just rest there, because that transformational process has been likened. I remember watching a wildlife video and they said it's likened to something like the strength of 5 bodybuilders men, right? That it takes for that caterpillar for that now butterfly to bust out the chrysalis. So this is where we are at. I have no shadow of a doubt that once we get through this part, the second half of the year, you're just going to want to chill. Now that lines up perfectly with what Taurus is bringing in for us right now, especially over the month of May. We're going to start to feel that we just want to slow it all down a little bit. Taurus is coming in just to make it more kind of like grounded and stable, and that everything is just, you know, slowing down, you know? So that's kind of lines up with the process that we're going through with transformation. So now think about what it takes to bust through that stuff. You're still in it, but is it a dark night of the soul though? So changing your perspective, changing your conversation with yourself and kind of like saying, well, you know, like, I am transforming, rather than I'm in a dark night of the soul, because that runs off the tongue too easily. One keeps you on the healing hamster wheel, which at some point you've got to get off, because the 7 sorrows of Mary Magdalene, or the 7 sorrows of Mary, go back a couple of videos. I speak extensively about that. They speak of when it is time to transform. You've got to step out of the dark night of the soul, call in the law of discernment and reach for the highest star, reach for the light, so you can come into your highest point of perspective. Because to be in true manifestation mode, we can't be focusing on what's got to go. We can't be focusing on what's in the dark all the time. We need to now have a perspective of like this full moon coming in. Let's wash away so we can reveal the butterfly wings. Let's wash away so we can reveal the beautiful colors in our wings. Do you know what I mean? So instead of just saying washing away the shit and looking at the chrysalis and the old shell being washed down the river, why don't we forget about that and actually focus on what's come out of the actual cleansing process of the moon? So that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? All of these things, 7 sorrows of Mary, Mary Magdalene, 7 gates of Osiris, you know, the 7 chakras, they are all, and the Kemetic tree of life and things like that. These are all teachings of ascension ladders, which tell us when to put what foot up on each rung and how to move with it for the purpose of transformation. This is the year of the dragon. This is the year of the fire. This is you, Sekhmet, all of the above, you know what I mean? And balancing into Ma'at. When we arrive at Ma'at, we really are at the high end of the scale of the ascension ladder, because once we've attained that kind of mastery, because that's what this is all about, you can't go back. You know, so if you are still in it and you're really feeling it and you're going, oh, this is a wonderful conversation to have, Marie, but I'm not there yet. You've got to just stay in your process and just keep going with it. And then saying, right, okay, this is my transformational process, because 2024 is the year of transformation. It's not years of dark night of the soul. The years before were that. Do you know what I mean? Big difference. Okay. So now I'm going to pull some cards and then I'm going to share with you about the fire ceremony, because this is going to be medicine of note for you guys. Because like I say, it was medicine for me the other day. Very, very powerful. So let's pull a card and let's see what we are being asked or what's being shared with us, you know? Okay, so this is cool. All right. So now this is the first card, awake. Right? But if you can see in that picture there, all right, well, the sun, first of all, that looks very, very kind of like a temple-y, you know, but the person is lying in bed. There's loads of golden energy. That looks like a sunrise to me. You know what I mean? So that is like awakening, right? Loads of golden energy, you know, and it's like, and if you add 18 there, it's a master number 9, you know, so that person is lying in their bed, which means we don't have to effort anymore. We can do this without working so flipping hard, right? But that is golden energy. Gold is the most powerful healing light that we can work with. It is the sun, which is the solar plexus, which is the eclipse energy bursting through, and it's not blasting us or burning us anymore. It's actually just keeping us warm as we rest in our beds and do this lying down, because we're masters. We can do this with our eyes closed. You know what I mean? So that's the first one. Now the next one, gotta love this, past. Now, I feel maybe this is more of a today card, because if you look at that, that is a woman walking towards like a very, very watery portal. I mean, I'm not sure whether it is water or whether it's stars. I think it is water because it feels very swirly there. Now, first of all, there's spirals in there. Spirals is always indicative of just kind of like, you know, very much divine feminine energy, but very much like winding the energy out and going into that portal. And if it is watery, we're talking about the watery womb. So past, okay? So basically, you know, it's letting go of the past, but it's all good because that's a very, very positive looking portal, and water, emotions, all of the above. Now, on the Kemetic tree of life, when you get to the god, which is basically or goddess representative water, that is Tefnut, and Tefnut. She looks just like Sekhmet actually, but she's at the higher end of the Kemetic key of life, you know, or tree of life. And that's a good sign because that's how high we are up on the ladder, and she represents water. So I think that's a very good sign as well. And then we have magic, Heka. So here she's looking into the mirror, the portal, and there is magic coming out of her hand. And magic is now something which is everyday life. Magic is transformation. Transformation is magic. So we have awake, past, watery, womb, let it go and let it transform into magic, because the past is not real anyway. So we want to transform it all and bring that energy into the magic, because that magic is our power. It's our belief. It's our childlike wonder, you know? So that's the cards for today. Now, grab your pen, grab your paper. I'm going to share with you about, on basic terms, how to put a fire ceremony together. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to, you know, because like, you know, anyway, let me just dive into it. Okay. So fire ceremony. okay? Obviously do this outside, not inside your homes, all right? Try and make the fire, if you can, depends how good you are making fires, without any fire lighters. You want it to be as natural as possible. So try and get some kindling or some paper or whatever to get the flames going, and then make a fire, okay? Now, this is what I do, but I really want you to intuitively work with what works for you, because that's what will happen when you stood around the fire. Because remember, fire is like, intention is everything, okay? So when I've got this like portable fire pit outside. You can even dig a hole in the ground and do something, you know? But so I connect with the fire, so now the flames are going, all right? And I give absolute blessings, thanks, and gratitude for the element of fire and the healing that I'm going to receive, right? And then I walk around the fire, okay? This is what I do with my drum. And I walk, or you can use a rattle or use your voice, whatever you want to do. I walk around the fire and I start to unwind. So I'll basically walk around it 3 times anti-clockwise. And then I'll walk around it 3 times clockwise. And what I do is I'm winding out the energy, and then I'm going to wind in the energy. Now, that could transcend to you as a protection symbol or something like that. Or you may want to open up the fire, okay, by walking around 1 spiral 3 times around the fire. And maybe only at the end do you lock in all the energy by walking around the fire 3 times clockwise. There is no right or wrong here, but I really want you to bring your own medicine and your own power and your own intuition to this fire ceremony, okay? And then, if you know the directions, call them in. If you don't, it's not essential, okay? Because I don't want that to trip you up and stop you from doing a fire ceremony, because sometimes technicalities like that, you know, then you start going into your head and trying to get it perfect. But remember, intention is everything, okay? You're going to put protection around this whole space, okay? Not because you're fearful or anything like that, so you don't have any interference, and you're just going to create a beautiful bubble of golden energy around. You may want to call in the archangels. I always call in Archangel Michael and his legions of light, you know. You may call in, maybe there's a power animal you want to call in. Sekhmet I call in because she's Lady of the Flames. There may be certain beings that you are working with. Or you might just be working with your higher self. It matters not. Just let it flow, okay? And then you want to give your intentions to the fire. So you give blessings for the fire element, for all of its power, for all of its healing energy, for the transformative power, being able to turn anything negative into positive. You know, you're calling the flames in to heal you. Maybe you're going to bring it into your solar plexus, you know, and you call for the healing of the flames and any beings and deities to come in and assist you to do the same, you know. You may have written a letter that you want to let go of this full moon. It may just be a letter. It may be an absolute word vomit. It may be things that you want and that you don't want. It doesn't matter. Just write. And, you know, there is obviously a releasing when you burn that letter into the flame. So have that if you feel called, right? And then from that, you may want to speak your intentions. You know, you may be calling in the closing of a cycle. It may be that you say blessings and gratitude for all of the lessons I have been shown, for all the healings I have felt through every single layers of my being. But I clear now all the density, all the distortion of anything that is not of the highest vibration, anything that is preventing me from seeing my true self. I clear in all dimensions, all directions. Okay, as above, so below, so within, so without. And I clear this for all who are on this planet, all in the multiverse, however far you want to go with this, right? And then you may cast your letter into the fire and say, with this letter, I now clear all of this dense energy, and I give this to you, to the flames, Sekhmet, transmuting, love and thank you. And just feel the energy leave you, right? And then you may want to work with resins. Okay, so I work with dragon's blood, again, fire. So dragon's blood is a very red kind of resin. Okay, so you can take a handful of this, you throw it into the fire intention, because that helps you purge from the inside out. So if you've got stomach issues going on or anything that's really hurting, because it's very physical at the moment, call for the healing in the physical body. Throw the dragon's blood into the fire. Okay, and then you might want to take frankincense. Maybe that's something that you would like to work with. That also clears negative energies and things like that. So you may throw that into the fire. Anything you're called for. I mean, even dried flowers like roses, that you call the Magdalens in, whatever you feel intuitively aligns with you, right? Then you can bring in copal. All right, so copal is like a white resin, C-O-P-A-L, copal, and it's very angelic. I'm very connected to this resin. As you throw it into the fire, it's got a beautiful scent, and it really just smokes quite strongly, actually, more so than dragon's blood. And this now clears, it's like almost like dragon's blood is the inside and the copal is the outside, and that will clear all of the energy around and make way for new light to come in. And then this one, which I think is really beautiful to close on the ceremony, is any kind of seed. Sunflower seeds, I use pumpkin seeds, and I call now Osiris and Isis, who are like, the gods of agriculture. Osiris was the god of paradise, bringing new fertile lands into fruition, meaning harvests and crops, abundance, all the rest of it. So I take the seeds and I'm like, with this, I plant my new seeds. I have tethered the earth, which you have done with all of these dark nights in the soul. I've tethered the earth. I now call in brand new seeds to grow that which is of my highest good, to grow the seeds of what I came here for, the truth, the authenticity, living by Ma'at. I ordain it to be so, and so it is, so it is, so it is. So, you can say whatever you want with that. Calling in Isis, she's also, a midwife. You're going to find yourself just channeling and doing your thing. Sing, dance, clap your hands, your drum, okay? You might want to play some really good house music after that. Dance, enjoy, have a great time, celebrate. Do you know what I mean? Stamp your feet on the earth. Do whatever you want to do, and then give so much love and blessings for the healing of the fire. And you may want to take a quiet moment after that and just stare into the fire and journey. See what the flames have to speak to you about. Because now I brought in the fire all the way into my solar plexus, and I felt the fire just move all the way through me. That was so healing. That was the difference of me puking solidly for 2.5 weeks. And the next day I woke up and I was clean. Clean, clean, clean. So get your warrior and warrioress roots back. Remember who you are. Remember what you came here with, and you know how to work with fire. You are fire. It's one of our most primordial, animalistic, transformative elements. And that is what we're in this year. You know what I mean? So run towards it, embrace it, be the fire, and then work with the transformational process instead of against it. Okay? So that there is my tutorial for you. So please go ahead and use or leave behind whatever resonates with you. Let me know how you got on with your fire ceremony if you feel called to do that. And then and then go into, and then I've just pulled this one just for a final card, descend. So descending is like, look at her, she's a little pixie and she's going into the earth. Okay, so everything is about descending to ascend. So through the descent, we ascend. And that's what's happening because the party is here. Now, the Essenes speak a lot about that. Just to wrap this video up, there's probably another video actually to do with the Essenes, because I've been channeling them through quite a lot as a collective, and they were like, celebrate the body, celebrate the change of seasons, celebrate movement, celebrate sitting on the floor, eating food with your hands, celebrate one another, because they celebrated being physically incarnated. That's why they connected so much with the Druids. The Essenes were like, celebrate life. And that's the transformational process as to what we're coming in now, as above, so below. This is where we sit and we're meeting in the solar plexus, but at the same time, we're activating the high heart, the cosmic heart, which is the pathway to our Christ consciousness, because we are the Christed ones. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. And I am going to wish you well with your fire ceremonies. And I'm going to Egypt in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of magic. And hopefully next year, there's going to be a whole bunch of you that have aligned through your transformational process. And we'll be walking in Egypt together, and Avalon as well, which I'll be announcing all of this when I get back from Egypt. Avalon is 2025 in August. So details to come. I will be heading to Avalon straight after Egypt this year. So I'll be also sharing with you the lands there as well. So transformation is upon us, and we are going to be sitting cross-legged, eating food, banging drums with one another in physicality. How exciting. So hold on to that one. Anyway, as always, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your lovely beings that comment and listen to the meditations. I will be transforming this channel as I get back from Egypt. There is way more to come. I got way more to share with you. And this is a movement. So if you feel called, to kind of like share this video, subscribe, put your little bell on there. I was actually talking to you guys about that the other day, about like saying, is it a bit cheesy saying like and subscribe? I don't like the like and subscribe thing. I really much prefer the the movement that we are all walking together as one, because that's the truth of me and that's the truth of what my messages are all about. But this whole thing, like, you know, press the button. No, I won't say that anymore. So do you want to join the movement? Yes, you do, because you're here. And together we walk, and then we bring others, and we bring others, and we bring others. And before you know it, we are going to be living in paradise on earth, heaven on earth, because we are the ones that bring heaven on earth. Do we not? So I feel a bit better after this video now. So happy full moon, y'all. And yeah, I hope that shifted some energy for you. And I will see you on the other side of your fire ceremony. Peace.